All right, welcome back to another version of Mobile Reasoning. As you know, we always go out and see special people, amazing people, extraordinary people, but this time we're taking it to a whole new level, right? You're going to speak with Odetta Rockhead Kerr, and remember me tell you, you're going to be riveted. So, let's get into Mobile Reasoning. Odetta,
Yes,
blessings to
Charles.
you.
Thank you, my brother, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for hanging out with us. We have been watching you just turn this country into a whole new energy because of how you impact people. I believe that you have a method, but this is more than a method. This is natural for you. And I don't know if it is because of your environment or how you came up, but somewhere along the line, you picked up a signature that your life is not your own. Tell me about that.
It's an interesting observation, and it's one that I'm very humbled by. So thank you, Charles. And I attribute a lot of it to how I was raised and how I was brought up. Because unlike many, I didn't have choices. So what it did was it create an individual that had to either go after everything they wanted through hustling or otherwise, or you have to get so creative, assertive, outspoken, and forceful that you claim what it is that others, or anybody around you for that matter, say you can't have. So when you are born into those circumstances, what happens is it forces you to become a little bit more extroverted and interactive, because you realize that you may need to speak a little bit louder than somebody born into privilege. You may need to be a little bit more articulate than somebody born into privilege. And you may need to just put yourself together and step out there a lot more bolder than somebody born into privilege.
But that I can understand with the way you have turned out. But when you talk to regular people, because you're not regular, I mean, I care how you want to put it, Odetta, you are not regular. You are one of Jamaica's top CEOs. You have run international organizations like it is your second nature. You have done so much. You've started an organization, again, based on building people. But there's so many people that come from not having privilege that believe they should step back, believe that they should work from the back and they should be quiet and they should do what they're told. But that's just not you. That's just not you. How did you get that lesson, and what made you listen and actively follow that lesson?
I would say the big difference is a powerful why. So everybody is different. Everybody, we all have our opportunities and we have our strengths. What allows us to put things in place to embody and develop our strengths and pay less attention to our opportunities is a why. When you have a why, and in my book I describe it as what haunts or hurts you. Whatever it is in your life that brings you tears when you think about it. Whatever it is in your life that it's such a big driving force to get into where you need to be, that without it, there's no living anyway. So my initial why was during Hurricane Gilbert, living in an old board house in rural St. James with more holes in the ceiling than stars in the sky. So we have to be setting pots and pans, deteriorating floorboards, and realizing that we were at the brink of losing that old board house that I was so proud to call home up to that point. And thinking to myself, I just have to build a firm, strong house for my extended family of, at the time it was 8, to replace this house. That why started at age 11.
Wow.
And it transferred itself in many ways. And I was constantly, it made me cry, obviously, during Gilbert out of fright, because I was sure we were going to lose our house. And every time a hurricane was threatened to Jamaica, I would get concerned for my family's welfare. So it haunted me and it hurt me. And it became the driver that resulted in me building a house for my entire family at age 25. The second why is getting pregnant and having a child before you're ready. And I was pregnant twice before age 17, and I gave birth to a son before he was ready to come into the world, simply because as parents, we have a responsibility to take care of our children. And if we're not ready to do that, we probably shouldn't be having children. But I made that decision. So I had a responsibility to ensure that he had a lifestyle that was not less than a prepared parent would provide him with. Those two whys, a child and safety and taking care of your family, that will allow you and create an environment for you to accomplish anything. And I think that's the big differentiator.
I think that touches on it. And I'm going to come back to this because your drive is different. Your drive is, a lot of us have a drive and say, okay, I want to be comfortable. You've gone way past comfortable. Your thing turned far past buck, right? As far as your desire, not your ability, but your desire to always do better, to always climb to that next level. You don't see comfort as, okay, I'm good, let me just stay here, right? And you're teaching this to other people. Your social media is all about empowering people to, look, that limit that you see is a step to what is up next. I love it. It is just amazing. And then,
thank you.
The book she's talking about is this: No Regrets, Just Lessons. And it is Odetta's life story. Whatever you do, by the time this video is finished, no, don't break the video. After the video is finished, go to Amazon or go to Gofer, we'll talk more about that, and get this book. It will change your life. And that's not because Odetta is here. It's two of them I've bought so far. Trust me. Tell me. This is not just a textbook. This is not just a novel. This is not just a story of your life. This is a workbook. Why did you approach it in that way?
There's a lot of narrative and books out there touting success and people sharing their success and talking about what they have been able to achieve and their greatness that they're now experiencing. I don't see a lot of them that gives you the secret sauce.
True.
So what I wanted to do was, my philosophy in life is to help people to rise. And the objective of that book is to change lives by changing mindsets. So you can't change mindsets by sharing your story of triumph and greatness without sharing exactly how you got there, giving the users the tools, the templates, the artifacts, and everything they need to get there themselves. I like to tell persons that after reading this book, mediocre should not be an option for you. And I'm willing, in addition to writing the book and giving you the tools and sharing the roadmap, to also host 12 months of workshop sessions, which are complimentary, by the way, for everyone who owns a copy of that book, to handhold you through the process of becoming the best version of yourself.
Hold on. Odetta, you understand what you just said? I mean, I know. Well, your husband must have the greatest headache in the world. Because, no, seriously, because what you just said is that everyone who owns the book has complimentary access for 12 months to you.
That's correct.
How do you... I don't know how that can be done. Anyway, it is amazing because she's getting it done. I was in front of a gentleman yesterday and I had on my Gofer mask. And he said, "What? You have a Gofer mask?" I said, "What you know about Gofer?" He said, "Boy, all I know, Where I used to work, that woman that lead the place there, she started it. She must have launched it last year or something like that. But me, I tell you, I'm thinking about it. And I'm saying, look at this. This young man is so entrenched with just how you impacted his life. He's following you after he's worked for you. He's left your tutelage or your management or whatever, but he's following you.
Humbling.
How does that make you feel?
I feel humbled, Charles, because I come from a place where you don't do things for credit or for recognition. You do it because you want and believe that everybody can be as successful as you are, or even more successful than you are. And it's my dream to help everybody to rise. So when I hear stories like that, I guess it's coming from a place where I may have impacted him in a way that resonated with him and he's sharing, but I still blush when I hear it, and I'm still completely and truly humbled by experiences like what you shared, because I don't even realize the impact. I don't believe I'm having that kind of an impact. You want to pause?
No, these wonderful cicadas are all around us. This is such a beautiful yard. We're going to give you a little pan of the yard later. But it's a beautiful space, and it is all Odetta and her husband Philip that have just completely made this into an oasis. The impact that you have on people, you've been doing it for years. Tell me a little bit about your chronological build into who we see now. You're from St. James. Not from a lot, but you've taken your time and you've built and built and built. Tell me that, give me a synopsis of that chronological till now.
Certainly. So I was born in a poor family. I don't call it humble because there was nothing humble about it. And opportunities were scarce, and money was always a problem, and it resulted in debts, in all kind of different things. I went to Springfield All-Age School, which I believe is an institution that gave me a lot of the foundation and the ambition and drive that I have. And then I was one of about 8 students out of 40 that passed for the Mount Alvernia High School for girls in Montego Bay. And it's funny because I wanted to go to a co-ed school initially because I wanted to do architecture. Oh, wow. But Mount Alvernia was such an amazing experience for me that I learned from my many lessons that I would experience, things there that actually caused me to not graduate based on my behavioral patterns. And when you have that dream from age 11 of building that house for your family, it's traveling with you as you go along. So when I hear I'm not going to graduate from high school, I'm thinking I either have to go to college to be able to build that kind of house, or I'm going to have to find somebody to help me to build it. So for a moment there, I harbored a kind of gold digger mindset to say, I'm going to have to find a rich man to help me to do this because now I am kicked out of school. And in my book, I talk to that as it pertains to not quitting. And I was able to get some information that I can actually matriculate into college without graduating as long as I got the subjects and did well. So that became my focus. And I did that, went to college, and just before leaving Mount Alvernia High, actually, I was about 15, an arrangement was created with a family member of mine who worked for a gentleman, resulting in me being taken to his house in the evenings until my family member was done working so he could drive me home. And this was a convenient arrangement because we lived about 12 miles from school and public transportation didn't go all the way to home. I still had to walk for several miles. That situation resulted in me being sexually abused for quite some time, eventually raped, And my family opted over time to have me do an abortion. And let the record show, if it was my decision at this stage, I would make the same decision. Because I'm not one of those women who have figured out yet how to love a child that comes from that kind of a violence. And I admire the women who have. I'm just not there. So having gone through that and started college, they say after you're sexually abused, a few things happen to you. You become very promiscuous, uncertain, you lose confidence, or you rebel. I think all those things happened to me. And within a year, I was pregnant again. But this time for the man that I thought was the man of my dreams at the time, resulting in a decade-long relationship. So now I'm 17, pregnant twice with one child, and I'm having to figure out, where do I go from here? I was at home one day and a Jehovah's Witness lady came, knocked on my door. I had applied for 50 jobs, didn't get any. She told me about the job in the BPO sector. The free zone was perceived to be low class because back then it was mostly garments that were made and there were low paying jobs. So I was a little bit hesitant, but I saw it as an opportunity to step into the workplace and figure out what I wanted to do. Interviewed, I got the job, worked in payroll, and this was the pivotal part in my career. When I worked, I actually worked in accounts, but I would post payroll entries as a clerk making peanuts for pay. And I saw the salary of an expatriate, this was a European expatriate, that was thousands of US dollars per month, housing allowances that were thousands of dollars, company car, and the related allowances and expenses for all of those. And I had no idea what that gentleman did, Charles, or those people. I just knew that that money can build that house up a country for the family. And in seeing that, I figured, how am I going to get here? I went to the managing director and I had a conversation with him and I said, this is the job I want. Tell me how to get there. He said, you have to go back to school, because I was a no graduate from high school and now a college dropout with a baby. So I had to figure out how to go, and my son's father's family offered to help me, but that's not how I was raised. I had to figure out how to do it myself. So I got a number of different jobs. So I would work Monday to Friday, weekends and public holidays, and I saved up enough for 1 year tuition, tendered my resignation, went back to school. But this time I wasn't going to drop out and be pregnant. When I was graduating, I was valedictorian, student of the year. Most of us, I don't know which accolade I did not graduate with, because when you have a powerful why, which now is my son, and the house, nothing steps in your way. And from there, graduated, went back to the company, went back to the same managing director, but come back for the work. They never tell me, say, I need the experience, of course, you know this. And he said, oh, you need the experience. And by then, his position had changed and he didn't have that much authority. The gentleman in charge said, you have to interview. And I was successful in the interview, but again, I was getting pathetic pay. And I was an assistant to an assistant, to the manager whose pay I'd seen 3 years earlier, right? And I thought to myself, you know what? It's only a matter of time. I believe in myself. I believe in my capabilities, and I'm going to help him to grow so that I can step into his role. Fast forward 6 months, I got a promotion. I was happy. Fast forward to a year, patience is not one of my best virtues. So in a year, I'm thinking, why am I not the manager yet? This is ridiculous. Ritz-Carlton was opening up in Montego Bay. Applied for an assistant to director job, got it, and now went and said, okay, I may have to leave. And the employees got wind of it. And this is the first time when I realized the impact I was having on people. They said, if you left Odetta, who would take care of us? And it's not that the manager who was there was a bad guy. He was an expatriate and he had issues communicating with the staff. So I bridged that for them. I got them their paycheck on time. If they had errors, they didn't have to wait until next week to get it corrected. I got it corrected, and I worked closely with them to achieve their personal and professional goals. So they decided to strike if I left. And they communicated strike action. So the managing director had been escalated to his new role because the CEO that was there went off and started his own company. And he said, Odetta, we need to talk. We can't afford for you to leave. And at that time, he made an initial offer to me. A lot of back and forth. But obviously, he had completely forgotten that I was working in the accounting
and
department.
You saw the payrolls.
So the pay was pathetic. And for the first time in my life, I realized that you could actually be desired, but not valued. So he saw and desired the ability to influence staff that I came with, engage the clients, but he just didn't value it. I don't know, and I don't get caught up on excuses for people's behavior. Persons around me speculated that it's because I was black, young. I was only 22 years old at the time, girl from country, underexposed. I was replacing a Caucasian man who had management experience, and it could be any reason. I did not care. I said no to that Jamaican dollar offer, and don't get me wrong, it was significantly more than I was making at the time. But on a matter of principle and knowing my worth, I said no. And I left that day with the intention of accepting the offer from Ritz-Carlton. The following day I went back to work, he came back, and that went back and forth for the next 2 days. But eventually, I told him plain and straight, if I don't get what the person in that role before was getting, I'm not staying. Now, this was some ridiculous amounts of money. And, you know, when you read the book, you'll see the details and some ridiculous benefits. But that day, when I held my ground, I left the office with the company car key in my hand and an offer letter with everything that I wanted. I didn't even have a driver's license, Charles.
Nothing wrong with that.
Didn't know how to drive.
Nothing wrong with that.
So after going there, then I started to, you know, move forward in my career. I got that promotion. Within a few years, I was promoted to a vice president, and that's in a U.S. Fortune 500 company. That was many first black, first young, non-expatriate, and that was a huge accomplishment, but it didn't stop there. Opportunities just kept coming. And I like to tell people I don't believe in luck. I believe that what people call luck is when preparation meets opportunities. I went back to school. I invested the work. I won every scholarship you could think of. Worked 24/7s. And this was just the opportunity meeting preparation. And I decided to leave that company after close to 15 years. Very grateful. That company today is Xerox. And funny enough, when I left, it was another BPO that I was speaking at a conference, and they approached me and said they wanted me to leave. I said I was very happy. I had no interest, but they were very persistent. And months after months, they would have conversations with me. They even shipped me to their head office to sell me on coming to their operations. And this, of course, is Sutherland. And eventually, I made the decision to come on board. But when I made the decision to come on board, the entity wasn't even registered in Jamaica. We didn't have an office. I was working from my vehicle for about 6 months.
What are you saying?
Yes, so I took a huge chance, leaving 15 years at the highest level of the organization in Jamaica, making an extremely good compensation package, and very happy with what I was doing to a company that don't exist in my home country. So I started Sutherland, worked with the team, the US team, hired some amazing people, some of them that's still there, and we just decided we're going to make history. And 1,000 employees per year later, 5,000, actually close to 6,000 when I was leaving, and 5 locations, we did make history.
You did.
So that's the journey, professional journey that is.
Ah, boy, if you're not inspired by what you just heard, listen. Persistence, perseverance, and preparation. Those things can lead you wrong. This is a living example. Make sure you're paying attention. You know? Make sure you're paying attention. There's so much more I want to talk to you about. Now, while I was at your book signing last week, a young lady was getting a book signed. And you asked me, Charles, could you please have this lady talk to you? She wants to make a statement. I said, fine. Pull up the camera, whatever. I was blown away by what this young lady was saying. She said she came to Sutherland for an interview. she had no subjects. And she explained to you, I have no subjects, I don't know what I can really do. And you said, but I'm not hiring your subjects. I want to know, do you want this opportunity? Are you willing to do the work to excel in this? She said yes, and you just poured in everything to her. Who does that?
I would like to say everybody, because I don't
No,
think I
man.
did anything special,
No,
Charles.
no.
I
Odetta.
don't think I did anything special. Quite frankly, until she said it in that testimonial, I remembered her because we have had interactions, but I did not remember that experience at all. And it's all about helping people to rise. You know, when you come from a poor background, you know, where opportunities are limited, if you don't go out there and make it a priority to help others to rise even further than you have, you aren't adding value to society.
That's
just my perspective.
That is true. That is true. All right, tell me about partnerships. Do you work with nonprofits? Do you work with organizations? Because if you help people rise, do you also work with companies to bring up companies or whatever? I don't know. Tell me.
Yes. So I do have a foundation.
Okay.
I don't say the name out because everything we do it quietly, because we don't do for record. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what the acronym means because it's not publicized. It's GOR, G-O-O-R, and it means Give Without Recognition. That's what the foundation is called. And we use that, so, you know, random requests as well as partnership. One of the partnerships that I can talk about openly because it's been talked about in public is after seeing what happened in college and just the knowledge and skills gained from my tenure there, I decided to give back what's called the Odetta Rockhead Scholarship. And this is for, and I've been giving it for several years, this is for every student like me who went to college with just 1 year tuition for a 3-year program and had no idea where the other 2 years were going to come from. So I encourage people to start before they're ready in everything that they're doing. And if you choose to do so, you can capitalize on this scholarship for anybody out there. There is also partnership with as a teenage mother, and we're finalizing this partnership now, but I'm looking to help other teenage mothers to realize, I don't encourage anybody to become pregnant as a teenager, but if you have, it's not the end of the world, right? So I'm partnering with a prominent organization in Jamaica to be able to do that and give them not just financial support, but support in person to help to coach their mothers and help them to achieve success. And there are several others. Most of them we do in confidence, because when you don't, to me, it exposes people's vulnerability more than you have to when you continue to share what you have done for people. And as an organization with Gofer, we're going to have to share some of that because it's required for goodwill. But so outside of that, we keep it quiet.
So let's talk about Gofer. Beautiful segue. Gofer is, give me the acronym.
Gift of Financial Freedom and Hope.
You see what I mean? People really. Everything about this lady is about rising people, bringing people to a whole new level. So you know, so by the next year, Good News Jamaica is going to be way up your son. Can we not let her go? Tell me about Gofer.
So Gofer was a brainchild that I came up with that my husband helped to bring to fruition. And what I wanted to do is to figure out a way to empower people financially by doing something that everyone can do, so it does not discriminate. So if you can figure out something to allow people to earn, whether they're retired, whether they have a disability, whether it's speech, it's physical or otherwise, whether they are from a very humble beginnings or otherwise, then you can empower a nation. Because if people are earning, their choices are different. And that's where, again, the whole changing lives by changing mindset comes in. So in order to do that, you identify a behavior that comes naturally to people. It doesn't require any effort. Every single Jack Mandora can do it. And that's sharing a positive experience. So when I say to you, Charles, I really like your glasses, sometimes you don't even wait for me to finish the sentence to tell me where you got it. Not true.
Exactly, true.
But then I say, where did you get it? You're going to tell me where you got it, right? By sharing this experience, let's say that pair of glasses is on Gofer for sale. Because you're a member on Gofer and you know that glasses is there and you got your glasses there, and I'm saying, Charles, I absolutely love that glasses. Where did you buy it? And you say, go on Gofer. And when you go on Gofer, let me send you a link. Use this link to buy it and you get a little price. Or you say to me, just use my code and you give me what we call your grid, which is your Gofer referral ID. And when I'm checking out, like any other e-commerce platform, it's very user-friendly. When I'm checking out, I just put in your grid, or if you send me that link, I just click the link. You automatically earn a commission. And I'm not talking about full money for commission, like a lot of the platforms out there that promise commission. These are lucrative commissions. So for example, for the book, when you are a member on Gofer for free, by the way, membership is free unless you choose to invest in your membership, you earn $5 for every book that you refer if it's a paperback, and $5.75 if it's a hardcover.
All right, so you're saying to me then, if I go on Gofer, which is free, and I see your book, I didn't print your book, I see your book, and I go out to Tom, Dick, and Harry and say, you know, she used to buy this book, and when you're buying it, just put in this. Put in this grid. Put in this grid. Because this grid is linked to me, and you'll get a discount, or you'll get a price.
Or something.
When I sell your book, I make money?
You are correct. And that applies to every product. Whether it's the stool that we're sitting on, the shirt, the pants, and even services. You're looking for a housekeeper, you don't know where to find one. In time, we'll have on Gofer all their profiles, paint a gardener, and if somebody refers them to you, that person earns. So we're in the pilot phase, so we're building out our products, but we have already seen tremendous success. Products are moving, people are happy. We deliver not just from 8 of our partnership locations with SSMC locally, but also we have a partnership location with SSMC in Miami, where we deliver to the rest of the world.
Oh, so it's a global platform.
That's correct, Gofer Global.
And it was started in Jamaica by a Jamaican.
Correct.
By 2 Jamaicans.
That's correct.
Two
and here's
Jamaicans.
how I envision it, Charles. Folks in the diaspora buying Grace bully beef and Grace tin mackerel for a whole heap of money.
Right.
When you buy it on Gofer, you get Jamaican prices and the shipping is discounted.
No, hold on. Okay, big something.
So that's where we're going.
Wait a minute, because a tin of ackee in America is $10 a tin.
So you'll get Jamaican dollar prices, and you pay the shipping, which will be competitive, and you have access to Jamaican prices from a Jamaican platform, and your products are delivered to you wherever you are in the world, as frequently as you want it to. If you see the concept as to where we're going with Gofer, this is only the beginning.
The link, follow the link to Gofer. Everyone, follow the link to Gofer. That's a concept that is just nobody else is doing that. No, it's referral.
It's the first of its kind in the world, actually. That kind of a platform. Because when you go, a lot of platforms talk about referral, or you have influencer buying and all kinds of things. The difference with Gofer is when you go on the platform and you see your glasses, you see the cost, and below the cost you see exactly what you're gonna earn when you refer it. The book, the same thing, whatever the product. So it's very transparent. There's no fancy math or algorithms behind what you're gonna earn, and that's where we differ a lot from everybody else. It's clearly stated,
Wow.
and you're guaranteed to earn it.
And anyone in the world can become a seller.
That's
or-
correct, because we use PayPal, and so we have access, and we're partnering in the future with international card companies. If you're local, we currently have a partnership with Sagicor, where when you enroll on our platform, you click the Sagicor site and you get a prepaid debit card from Sagicor, and that's how you get your money. You can also choose to do it by PayPal. We have been doing that a lot, so PayPal works wherever you are in
Yes,
the
of
world.
course.
And our mission is to get cards in different territories as users request them as well, and develop partnerships.
Wow, Odetta, I could talk to you forever, but I've already gone over the time. I've gotten the signals, but Odetta, thank you so much for sitting with us. Your everything about you is amazing. Thank you for inviting us into your wonderful oasis, and just, I want to thank God honestly for you. You are impacting people's lives. You are changing people's lives for the better. And you didn't have to. So thank you that you are listening. Thank you that you are taking notes and you're following what you have been assigned to do. That's really all I can say to you.
Well, you're welcome, Charles, and it's such a pleasure having this conversation with you. And thank you for what you're doing with Good News Jamaica to bring Jamaica to the world.
Yeah, man.
And we have to give God all the grace, because without God, as you see in my book, none of this would be possible. So thanks again for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Remember, folks, no regrets, just lessons. Go get the book. All right. Thanks again for sitting with us for our mobile reasoning. Until such time.
Thank you for checking us out on Good News Jamaica TV for content that informs, inspires, and transforms. Please like, share, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more positive Jamaica content. Walk good,